Hi, folks. I just thought I'd start a new series off of kits that are in my collection, fairly rare ones that you just don't see every day. And most of them are unbuilt. And I mean, some of them I may never build, but I just thought people might be interested to see them in the flesh, so to speak, and see, what's inside the box. And I thought I'd start with something that certainly people of a certain age might be familiar with, and may not even be aware that a kit was made of it. So let's take a look. So here it is. This is the Pink Panthermobile, or it's known as the Panthermobile. And anyone of a certain age that remembers the Pink Panther cartoon show on TV might remember that the credits featured this real car pulling up outside. I think it might have been Grauman's Chinese theatre, and the sort of cartoon characters getting out of the car, and the driver takes his helmet off, and it's like a teenage kid driving it. And I looked this up on Wikipedia because I was interested to know what the history of the vehicle was. And it was built by, or rather, it was designed by a guy called Ed Newton, and then built by a team at Bob Reisner's California Show Cars. Now, this box features, it's almost like a magazine cover. And it does actually feature an offer that you could get a dollar off a subscription to this magazine. So I'm assuming that back in the day there would have been a magazine featuring all these hot rods, and this featured on the cover of one of them. And interestingly, one of the guys that built it was called Joe Balon, and he actually invented the color candy apple red, and then that's where all those candy paint colors came from. So there was a whole series of these kits, and they're made by Eldon, and I'm not really familiar with the name. I mean, it was around the time of the likes of Aurora and people like that. And I think Eldon did some aircraft kits. I've not really looked into it on ScaleMates, but they did a series of these hot rods, and I used to have, I think, 3 or 4 of the others, but over the years I've gradually moved them on because it wasn't really my thing building, sort of custom cars and things. Although I've always loved this one, and I managed to pick this up off a good friend of mine who was getting rid of it. And strangely, I have started this, and I come across it the other day, and I thought, well, maybe I should finish it off, and it'd make like a nice display piece. So it was actually re-released. I think this kit came out in the early 70s. The actual car was built in 1969, and according to Wikipedia, the original cost of the car was $100,000, which is astonishing, really. And the car was actually built on an Oldsmobile Tornado chassis, and it was 23 feet long, that's 7 meters long, and about 6 foot wide at its widest point here. So, quite a big vehicle. Apparently it wasn't very easy to drive, and there was no mirrors on it, and the driver relied on like a little black and white TV screen inside the cockpit here to be able to drive it. But it had a 7-liter Oldsmobile V8 engine, so it's quite a powerful engine. The bodywork was all sheet metal. Apparently, it wasn't made from fiberglass. So whether that made it for a sort of heavier car, I don't know. But it's quite an interesting design. Yeah, it was re-released by Doyusha in Japan in the sort of late 70s, I think, along with some of the others. And you can see there on the side of the box, there's the actual car there. And that's one of the few pictures that appears on the internet. There's very few pictures of this available. It was sold back in 2011, and it was purchased by Galpin Autosports in Los Angeles. Now, whether it's on display somewhere, I don't know, but there's not that many pictures of it. I'm assuming the picture on this side that's Bob Reisner. Now, it says designed and built by Bob Reisner, but I think he owned the company that built it, but he wasn't the original designer. So it's just in a basic box, like a lot of these 1/25th scale cars, and you can see the body's been painted. I'll show you some more of that in a minute. I'll just show you the instructions first. So basically, the instructions, this is all just construction tips here, and it doesn't really have a history. It just says who it was designed by, which is actually bogus because it wasn't Bob Reisner that designed it. And then it's a very simple kit. You can see the body shell goes together with all these panels that go underneath the main shell. And it's a while since I put this together. It's a few years, but it went together really well. I mean, I'm assuming this is the first issue, so there was no flash. The parts were really nice, and there's a little bit of seam filling here and there, but nothing too difficult. There's an interior, and it's got a little TV screen in there, and there's a bar and some bits and pieces. What's it say there? There's a bottle, stereo console, telephone, lamp, television, and then the door panel. And there's an engine, which isn't massively detailed, but it's enough that you don't see very much of it in the kit. And then there's the chassis and the wheels, and the wheels are interesting because they've got inserts for the pinstriping. And then that's the final assembly, goes together. And in fact, there's the rest of the series on the back. There's the bathtub, the Invader, which is like a twin engine car, the outhouse, the milk truck, and the sand dragon. And I think there was one more as well, but I'm not sure what it was. And then there's that subscription offer that was offered to people who want to subscribe to the magazine Popular Hot Rodding, which I'm assuming is long gone now. So that's the instructions. And then looking at the parts of the kit, here's the body shell. Now bear in mind this has had the bottom pieces attached to it, but it's a very, very clean moulding, and this was painted in Tamiya pink gloss, and it seems to be about the right color when you look at photos. I think when it was restored, they painted it a much darker pink. It doesn't really look the part. There's some details still to paint on the back. I think the back panel was a different color on the back here, and you can see how narrow the windows were, but the driver sat in the front in an open cockpit with just like a tiny windscreen. So you know, the passengers have a bit of a view out of the window, but not very much. So the interior, now the reason I stopped building this is it's got a mirrored interior with sort of very faint pink lines on it, and when those Molotov paint pens came out with the mirror finish, I started doing it with one of those, but then I had a bit of a disaster and I got a bit sort of disheartened with it and just put it away. Now what I'm actually going to do with this tub here for the interior, I'm going to strip this back and then redo it, because I've had another idea for doing the mirrors now, so I'm gonna try that out. So when I do finish the build of this, I will do another video of it being finished. That's the inside of the door, and it's got the same mirror panels on the inside, and that's obviously the outside. And you can make that open, which I'm gonna have open so you can see inside. Here's the chassis which I built, and I did make a slight alteration in the fact that I put some aluminium tubing there to take the little metal axle, but everything's going to be glued on anyway. There's the engine for what it is. You can't see virtually any of it when the kit's together, and there is actually somewhere in here there's a chrome part which fits on the top. It's like, I don't know whether that's the air cleaner or whether it's just a panel that goes on the top, but that's pretty much all you see inside the car once it's together. Unless you tip it upside down, you're not really going to see anything. But the chassis is pretty basic, but it goes together quite well. The wheels are nice. The hubs are chrome plated, and they look like the genuine car. There's 4 of those. I think they're the rear ones, and there's like a sort of chrome piece that goes on the back as well. The tires are vinyl, and they're in good condition considering this kit's so old. They've not perished or anything. They're in good condition. And you get these pink styrene discs which push in to the tire, like so. I'm not going to push it in now because I want to be able to get it out again. But they go into the tire and they give you the effect of the it's almost like a white wall tire, but it's got like a pink pinstripe. Now they are a little bit over scale for what's on the actual car, but I think they look decent anyway, so I'm going to use those. There's the windscreen for what it is. I don't think it gave much protection. There's 3 these things are 3 supposedly bottles to go in the bar, and the actual kit itself doesn't come with side windows. Now, looking at the actual car, I don't think it had side windows. It must have been a bit windy inside, but there doesn't appear to be any glass in the car. There's a little let me get this out. There's a little sort of TV antenna that goes on the back of the car, which is quite tidy considering that's the original kit part. Didn't need any real cleanup. It's chrome plated. This is the stereo unit, which I'll detail a little bit. And there's also the TV unit here. Now what I'm actually going to do with that is I'm going to put a little slide in there. I've drilled a hole in the bottom, and I'm going to mount this on a base, like a sort of grass base, and I'm going to run a wire through there and put an LED in, and I'm going to try and put a scene from the Pink Panther TV show inside the TV. So when you look inside, it'll sort of help light the inside up. I may put a couple of little lights in the bar as well. And the only other thing which was quite strange was it didn't come with a steering wheel. There's no steering wheel in the kit. I assumed that they must have a steering wheel to be able to steer it. So I created this one. I made it out of just like a plastic ring, and the rest of it's made out of brass wire that's been soldered together. All you get is this kind of, it's like a little hub thing, but there's no actual wheel attached to it. I have toyed with the idea as well, because there's the interior of the tub. That's just been primed. It's like a pinkish white, but it needs a coat of pink, because the whole thing's pink. All the upholstery's pink. I did toy with the idea of trying to find a driver figure that I could put a helmet on. And I remember the kid had a sort of striped shirt on, like a short sleeve striped shirt, so I might try and find a figure. It doesn't really look like 1/25th scale. It looks more like I don't know, really 1/32nd scale. The seat looks too small for a 1/25th scale figure, but anyway, I could get away with it with a smaller figure because, you know, as I say, it was a teenage kid, so he would be a bit smaller than a grown man. And the other nice touch, which has got a bit of a blemish on it, but I was going to try and cover that with like maybe a little rug or something. You actually get this plush carpet. It's vinyl on the back. It's pink vinyl, and it's got this sort of flock. You can probably see that there. It's got like a flock edge to it. It's the carpet for the inside of the passenger compartment. So that's quite a nice touch as well. I've no idea what caused that stain on there. It doesn't seem to want to come off, but I might try and just very lightly scrape it off. But if I can't get it off, I might just make a little rug to go in there. The has this stereo, but it seemingly doesn't have a seat. So again, I might just dress this up with a little bit of upholstery, make a cushion with some deep buttoning or something, just to set it off. So all in all, it's a really interesting kit, and but it's also extremely rare as well. And I've never seen one built at a show. I've never seen another one for sale at a show or in a shop, or, you know, an antique shop or anything like that. I've seen a few online for sale, but they go for big bucks. So and there can't have been that many made it to this country. I don't remember seeing it on sale here back in the 70s, really. The only other thing worth pointing out, if you look at the nose on the car, it's quite long, and yet the nose on the model is a bit shorter. Now, I did again look at thinking, could I do something with that? But given that it's got this integrated scoop in the front, it was just too much work to contemplate. I mean, I could have extended it maybe, I don't know, but it still looks like the car. So I think I'll just have to live with that. And, you know, it's not worth kind of ruining a super rare kit just to try extending the nose on it. So, yeah, there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at a super rare kit. And again, a lot of people may not even know this existed. And I'll have a few more coming up in the near future of some real rarities that I've got. And if you've got any comments, then obviously leave them, and I'll try and answer any questions you've got. Also, if you want to subscribe or you know, like the video, then please do, and it all helps with the you know, the algorithm to get more people looking at the channel and things like that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon with another video.